Okay, folks, it's 7 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order of the Board of Appeals meeting for Wakefield on Wednesday, June 10th. We'll start with a roll call. Chris McNamara.
Here.
Chip Tarbell.
Here.
Sydney Humphreys.
Yeah.
Kirsten Brown.
Here.
Dave Hatfield.
Here.
Joe Pride.
Here.
My name's Tom Lucy. Obviously, I'm here. Mitt, our alternate member, Mitt Cavell, I do not see online. If he joins us, I'll let folks know. There is no legal notice for tonight, so we're going to get right into the first item on the agenda, which is the 50 Pilot Parkway case. So, continued hearings 26-1, 26-2, 26-3, 50 Corner Pollard Parkway. With that, board members will have noted that we received submissions from the applicant regarding stormwater control, drainage calculations, etc. We also received some correspondence from the abutter. Mr. Sean Smith has been participating throughout the process on this, and he's representing the abutter, R.J. Kelly. Given the volume of what was submitted and the subject matter expertise needed to go over that, our folks at Town Engineering Office do the peer review for the submittals by the applicant. So with that, I think I'm going to, Bill Renaud, Town Engineer, has joined us in the meeting. Rather than go through all that, I think I want to go right to the Town Engineer.
Yeah.
And just to remind board members, the section of the criteria that we're looking at in the zoning ordinance reads the following: the requested use will not overload any public water, drainage, or sewer system or other municipal system to such an extent that the requested use or any developed use in the immediate area or any area of the town will be unduly subjected to hazards affecting health, safety, or the general welfare. So, Bill, as I turn it to you, I'm assuming public water and sewer are fine.
We're good on that end, yeah, that's not an issue. So, I mean, basically, I think the drainage.
I'm just gonna ask you to really project, because sometimes.
Yeah, okay. Yep, so, yep, no problem. So, yeah, water and sewer were fine for the site, that's not an issue. This is a pretty low use from a water sewer standpoint. The drainage related comments, so we received the submittal from Engineering Alliance last week. We were able to get a little bit into it early this week, starting to address some of our comments. We have to still do a little bit more review. Unfortunately, last week we had a lot of construction going on in town, so that kind of delayed us getting into it. But I also received Mr. Smith's letter from June 8th, and I received that yesterday. So I've had a chance to go through some of the letter. I think a couple of issues that I can easily discuss. First being the question about the groundwater table height, where I was out there doing all the test holes for this project, and as well, I also was there for the test holes for the 200 foot pile. And we're seeing a lot of similar stuff between both sites, where all of this is fill that came in. So we have a hodgepodge of material, depending on where the hole is. None of the holes match. So we've seen essentially just all fill in pockets of different stuff. So one of the things with the peat layer that's been brought up, we have peat in a couple of the holes. We also have holes on the site that don't have peat in it. So we're going to be looking for the applicant to conduct some additional testing to determine, first off, what the limit of the peat is. And if this is just a pocket, which it very well could be. We saw that on 200 Point of Power when we had a couple of pockets. So that's the first piece. We are really going through the groundwater mounding comments. And I think those are comments that we have as well. And, we're going through what, the submittals and the approach. We have done in the past where poor soils have been removed underneath detention and infiltration systems. That's been done in town consistently, throughout the town, and we're pretty comfortable with that in general. But some of the calculations, we're still going through, just haven't finished them yet. Between that and the additional testing, I think we'd have a better handle on that, and probably even the next month's meeting, or so. I think that's really what we'll be looking at. So related to the groundwater height, I'm definitely comfortable with that, being the person that was out there for all the test holes on the site. I agreed to the 81 elevation. I'm comfortable with that. I've gone through other, historical data too, from the 100 Quinnipiac development. When that project went through, they actually had a water table that was lower, about 6 inches lower. We're calling it at 81, which I'm comfortable with, based on what I've seen for test holes out there and compared to 200 as well, and all the testing that we did there. So that's what we called 81 as our elevation on 200 as well, and I'm pretty confident with that number. So I'm good there. There was discussion and comment on the turret system as well, which is the same technology that we used and we designed into Quinnipiac Parkway. So we're obviously comfortable with that. It also provides phosphorus removal. We're comfortable with that use. There's been third-party testing that we did the research before we deployed it. That was done in Minnesota that we've looked at, and that shows a high level of TSS removal, a bunch of other stuff as well. So I'm comfortable with that approach. So those are kind of the two biggies. One of the things I'm noting, I keep reading about the dynamic field and the dynamic method, which is not what's being proposed by the applicant. They use a different design method, which is called the static method, which is the most conservative. One of the things that uses allows the rolls table. Mrs. Smith's talking about, not agreeing with the rolls table rates, which, and that's just standard engineering practice. So I don't think we're going to debate the use of the rolls table. It's the DEP is comfortable with it. It's in their methodology, and we're going to be comfortable going forward with the rolls table. And aside from that, I think the majority of the other stuff is just related to the groundwater mounding, which we're still reviewing. So I don't think there was really anything else in the memos that were really needed to be discussed from what I saw. The most of it is related to the groundwater mounding. And again, the groundwater mounding, what the standard is to make sure that with the infiltration system, that groundwater doesn't breach through the ground, right? So when it gets to the wetland, it's not higher than the wetland and breach through, or if there's grading in other locations, it doesn't break through the ground. That's the standard that we have to meet. And so that's what we're reviewing, just to make sure that that's. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. But I mean, it's he provided some comments that I definitely can see the position, but some of the other items I just categorically disagree with. So again, I'm a soil professional. I've been out there doing all the test holes. I've witnessed everything, and I'm comfortable with the majority of the assumptions that the design teams make.
Okay. So just to sum it up, besides the mounding and some more test bits.
Yep. At that point, once I have that information, I'll be able to give a thumbs up, thumbs down to the scenario.
And that would address what you believe is the majority.
The majority of the comments, yeah, the majority of these comments are related to the mounding and talking about how water is moving through soil and all that other stuff. And the peat layer is a discussion on it. I mean, the peat layer can act as a restricting layer. That's true. But also, I mean, similarly, you have ledge that can be below ground, and that's the same restricting layer. So there's ways to look at this, and ultimately, I haven't determined what I'm comfortable with at this point. But once we have the test holes completed, and we're able to review all the information that was sent in with this last submittal, we'll be able to report back to you folks with the full comment memo that addresses all of it. And I'm happy to go through each of the comments from Mr. Smith if you prefer me to do that, and outline it. But again, the groundwater table piece, I don't think that's something we're going to entertain.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with what's been seen there. And the other piece really was the system, the collection system, the rain guardian turret. I mean, again, I'm using the same technology on Quinnipiac Parkway, and we already installed it and permitted it. It's being used in the state and other locations. This has been peer reviewed in other states. Obviously, before I deployed it, I researched it, so I'm comfortable.
Board members, questions, comments?
trying to keep it up a level. I'm sure you don't want to get into the weeds too much on that.
Yeah, no one here is an engineer.
I mean, that's.
I mean, it's exciting
it's
stuff.
Great that Bill came and presented and, you know, we trust him and he's our party, he's the one we go to, so that he knows better than us.
No, we'll look for the memo when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be good to have a response to the comments and to whatever they've proposed.
Yeah.
We always look for that.
Yeah.
And it ends up being adjustments to the plan, or it's not an issue, or maybe it's a potential condition.
Yeah.
Usually your letters, engineering department's letters fall into one of those types of categories.
Yeah.
So we'll look for that and we'll take it along with all the other evidence when we get there.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and again, the new memo from the 8th, obviously I haven't had a chance to really go through everything in it, but, you know, breezing through it. I mean, a lot of similar stuff, a couple of things were added. Operation and maintenance plan was another piece, and what they're proposing is consistent with every operation and maintenance plan in the town. We require submittals to come to us into Concom, which will be something that has to happen for those things to be maintained. So that's a new comment that came in. But all these things, I think the majority of them are pretty minor.
Okay. Anybody else? No?
I didn't expect to be this quick in and out, so that was terrific.
Oh, yeah. Can you hang out for
Can't leave yet.
Okay,
public comment?
sure,
There may be a few questions.
sure.
Yeah, I've got a
Comment, I'm happy
question.
to answer comments.
Got a question.
So we're good. I'm gonna go to public comment. Do you have a question?
I do.
Go ahead.
Obviously, we're more than willing to cooperate with what the town engineer is requesting. We're just gonna need to work. I'll have Rick work through you on when you want those test holes.
Yeah, sure.
Any idea how many, Bill? Probably. Just 'cause we have to
I
hire
think we're
somebody.
gonna, you know, let's plan for a half a day, and I'm thinking we'll probably have like 4 or 5.
And you need a machine, I would assume.
Yes.
We're happy to cooperate.
Okay.
We'll see, you know, I think trying to determine the limit of the peak is key, and, you know, if it's a pocket, which it's been in this area, you know, I think it's somewhat of a moot point, but if it's something that's extensive, you know, then we'll probably have to.
That's just be dug out. That's not that.
They can, so, I mean, this, like I said, on the site, we've dug test holes that don't have any. So it's been dug, either it's been dug out in the past, or it's been deposited as part of it. We allow folks to dig out bad soils, I mean, that's done throughout town. Other projects you folks have approved, other projects that have been through the planning board, we allow that to happen. And that's pretty standard practice across the industry.
But if it was pervasive, what would that imply? That maybe we gotta move the stormwater retention, like it's gotta be in a different area on the site?
That could be
Potentially, or-
potentially a solution. Yeah, I mean, I think we first will find out the limit of the heat, and then determine, you know, I can't tell you what my opinion is at this point until I have the data. So once I have that, we'll be able to see what, you know, what steps forward.
Wouldn't you be digging out the whole area anyways for that?
He
stormwater?
proposed that, yeah, so he's
That's exactly
proposing,
what- So that means you would get to the peak. If you see it, great, it's gone. If you
I think
don't,
what the fear is if it's all peat and we just have this one little kind of hole that's good material, that it'll cause the groundwater to mount a little higher.
It's
So
gonna
that's
go-
why I want to find out if it's lenses, it won't do that, but if it's a constant layer.
So it's gonna go to path of least resistance.
Exactly.
Okay.
But you're right, that was our exact design intent, was to overtake, excavate the peat, get rid of it.
yeah, I mean, and keep in mind, the groundwater table here is above the peat layer. So, you know, the saturated soil is a good 2 to 3 feet above it. So, you know, if that, it could even act, I mean, we have plenty of sites where there's ledge that acts as that restricting layer too. So, I mean, there's other ways to design it too, if that's what it ends up being. We'll figure out what the game plan is. I mean, you know, I'm not necessarily concerned about like an artesian situation, because I have sections of this that don't have peat. So on the site, and then, like I said, on 200, we did a whole slew of tests. And I mean, every hole was different. We had a couple or a few of them that had similar peat lenses. So,
Is it worth adding extra chambers or?
you know, I think that's up to the design team once we figure out the game plan, you know. They may have revisions, they may not. I don't know. We're gonna figure that out.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Didn't mean to shut out the applicant, but I'm ready to go.
No, we're fine. I just want, you know, we're happy to cooperate with whatever he needs to make sure we get it right.
I just wanted to focus on Bill tonight.
It's all about you.
All right, but at this point, it's not just about Bill.
No, not at
Is there
all.
any member of the public, on Zoom that would like to comment on what was presented tonight? If so, please use the raise hand function in Zoom. Mr. Smith?
Yes, good evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you for hearing me. I hear the town engineer's comments and I think what we're finding, obviously is stormwater isn't necessarily an exact science, right? Every time we look at a stormwater study, a stormwater report, designing our own stormwater protection systems, the reality is that the standard of engineering practice shifts with consideration for the site conditions and the site characteristics. And in particular, I just asked the board to consider, I'm not going to revisit anything in particular on this call. In fact, I think what I would just ask is that the board consider the idea that if fundamental assumptions are actually incorrect, which they very well could be, what the impact of the design and the project and its ability to meet the legal hurdles established by Mass DEP actually are. And I think this is where the verbiage is very thick and dense and engineering-like in the letter. But at the end of the day, if in particular groundwater mounting is incorrect, for example, the groundwater height is incorrect, for example, and DEP says if you don't have modeling, you need to figure out where it is through testing, right? We don't have that. And these are just, and it's not to say in other conditions and in other locations, you can't skip that, right? If you don't see modeling, you don't see any groundwater, a lot of times good engineering practices, yeah, sure, you can skip it, but in this case we have it. And it's just one example. I would ask the board to consider, for example, if the infiltration rates, and remember mounding is governed by horizontal spread, not vertical, right? So we can dig down all we want, but if the horizontal is restricted, then you have more issues, right? And more mounding. So this is just things I'm highlighting. These are inconsistencies with the DEP approach that I am highlighting. It's not to say that these things aren't done in other locations. But I think in this case, with the characteristics of this site, we need to take a closer look and know exactly what we're dealing with to make sure that that the stormwater plan is adequate for what we're asking for here.
Okay. So Sean, my one suggestion is to keep putting things in writing, because we are going to rely on our subject matter experts in the town engineering department. So if you get them to Amy and myself, we'll make sure that it's shared with Bill. No one on this board really going to be able to answer engineering questions.
I absolutely understand that, Mr. Chair, and I am more than happy to have a conversation with the town engineer, with the applicant's engineer, anybody who can present something to me that would satisfy our concerns here. Right now, I'm not seeing it, but perhaps there is something that I'm not seeing, and to even support what the engineer and your town engineer is saying here. It is not technically the dynamic field method because there is no field measured items to measure against. But this is just, it is a simple dynamic method. It is HydroCAD is dynamic. There's discarded flow within the calculations. So this is not static. We're not saying that all the water is captured and the basin is sized for all the water going to it. And this is why the assumptions are more critical and we need to pinpoint those exactly. And again, I'm more than happy to have a conversation and we can put those findings in writing. But I'm not satisfied quite yet.
Okay, I'm going to suggest, and the town engineer said he's more than willing to talk to you. Some of this can be done offline and not at this meeting.
Of course.
So I'm going to encourage you to do that.
Yeah, just give me about a week to just get through all the information. And then
Sure.
We can schedule up a meeting. I'm happy to have you either come in or Zoom it up. We can figure out, kind of find some common ground on most of this, I think.
Yeah. Again, I mean, we're talking about Lake Quantapug, guys. I think that is it's already an impaired body. It's still listed as an impaired body. We should be more careful, not less. We should not rely on, statements from salespeople saying, I think you'll be fine. Right. I mean, I think we should just be certain. And that's what I think I would expect of the board and from the Conservation Commission when we go there. So I appreciate your time. I don't have anything else unless anybody has anything for me.
No, I think we're set. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else online that would like to comment about tonight's presentation? Public comment going once, twice. Closing public comment. Back to the board, pleasure of the board. I guess I will have a question for the applicant. Do you think you can do the testing before our next meeting?
We're gonna try.
2 weeks.
2 weeks? You think we can get that done?
We're gonna try.
So we'll continue to the
23rd.
24th. Any other questions before? Okay, looking for a motion.
I move that we continue the matter of 50 Corner Pile Parkway to our June 24th, 2026 meeting.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded. Any further comments? Okay, seeing none. Dave?
Yes?
Joe?
Yes.
Chip?
Yes.
Kasumi?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Matters continue to the 24th. My one request would be though, if you can let us know the Friday before if you got it done.
Mhm. Yeah, because you'd see us in the middle anyways.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Happy to see you all.
All right.
Thanks, Bill.
Anytime.
Other matters? We don't have it. Clerk board comments.
I get it.
Sure. Just recorded a bad 9 holes of golf.
What was the word on that?
Any other board comments?
Do we have to reorganize tonight?
We already did. Last time.
Yeah, 1 foot rock.
Oh, that's right, we did. 1 foot out the door.
Yeah,
1 foot rock course.
All right,
Yeah, he's here.
anything else? All right,
Chair, I move that we approve the meeting minutes of May 27th, 2026, as written.
okay, voice of a vote can happen here. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
I move to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
always in order. Voice vote here too. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.